One of the favorite workbooks that I've published is the Sales Journal. And it's my favorite because it's one that I use every week as I plan out my work. And what I want to do is spend just a couple of minutes and walk you through how this book is structured and how it can help you as an account executive or an SDR in your role. So the book itself is a couple of hundred pages, and it is filled with these blank canvases, and they are there to help guide you to fill in doodling with your pen across a range of different activities through your work. The first of these canvases is the weekly forecast canvas. Now there's 52 of these, 52 weeks in a year, and each one helps you to create the narrative that you will walk your manager through when you're on your weekly forecast call. So this does not replace your CRM. It does not replace your revenue intelligence platform where your opportunities are tracked, where your stages and gates and dates and percentages are all created. But what it does enable you to do is to create that talk track that you will walk your manager through. So specifically, what deals have come in, what is committed and why, what's the value of those deals and your reasoning behind it, what's your upside and committed, and again, what's your reasoning behind that and what could influence that. And then we get into what could you do this week, this month, this quarter to help improve the situation. So if you're below target, what could you do to improve that situation? If you're on track or ahead of target, how can you really hit those accelerators? So each week, the day before you go on your forecast call, a really easy guide to map you through and plan that conversation. Next up is the account canvas. Now you've probably got some account plan documents, whether that's in Google Slides, PowerPoint, Word doc, or even an Excel, some complicated document that takes a long time to fill in. This is just a very simple one-pager to help you to research and plan an attack for your priority accounts. So what is the company? What's their vision and their strategic priorities that you might pull out of their website or their annual report? Who do we know at the account? Who do we want to know? What do they buy from us today, if anything? And what do we think the opportunity is? And some additional notes. Just a really quick sense check for your top priority accounts in your territory. Next up, qualification canvas. So let's say you've got a request that's come in from a potential customer or dreaded RFP. How do we quickly qualify whether this is something that we should be investing our and our company's time in? So on the vertical axis, you've got things that are important to your customer and things that are not important. They'll probably hit you with a list of 50 requirements. Some of those are absolutely critical and some of them are just nice to haves. And then on the horizontal axis, you've got things that we do as a company and things that we don't do as a company. And what you can start to do for those 50 requirements is just to mark up the things that we do and that are important to the customer, which is going to help us to qualify this opportunity in. And then the things that we don't do, and they aren't really important to the customer anyway, and we're going to start qualifying this opportunity out. The more dots you can put in on the top right, the more likely you are to qualify this opportunity in and invest the time moving forwards. Having decided you're going to work on an opportunity, then you might start using the opportunity canvas. And here is where we take a high-level view as to what is the problem that the customer is trying to solve, and have we got a meaningful solution to that. We then start to look through who do we know in that decision-making unit, who's making the decision, what criteria are they using, do we know their timeline? Now, you might be using something like Medic or MedPick, which is going to have a lot of this content in. It's not there to replace the qualification you're doing internally, but to help guide your thinking as you structure your approach for that opportunity. Hopefully, you've progressed well with your opportunity and you're now down to the business end and you're starting to negotiate with your customer. But as you head into that negotiating call or meeting, you want to make sure you're prepared. And so here we've got a very simple negotiating canvas where you can start to think through your opportunity and consider what is it that you've got that your customer wants And what has your customer got that you want? And how do you rank those things in terms of highly valuable to you, which might be that the customer is going to sign for a certain product on a certain date, or things that are highly valuable to the customer, which might be about access to other customers or a reduced price. Having weighed out what's important to you and what's important to your customer, you can then start to evaluate 3 or 4 different solutions that might match some of your high value items with some of their low value items and vice versa. You'll then look at what's your walkaway scenario. What happens if we can't come up with a deal on this call? What is our fallback? And the same thing for the customer. If they can't get a deal, are they going to buy a competitive solution? Will they stay with the status quo? Having thought through these items helps avoid you being derailed in the meeting, and also helps you to make sure that your executives, your manager, anyone else that's in that meeting is on board with what the plan is. If things aren't going so well in your deal, then what you might want to do is start thinking about a loss preview canvas. And I say if things aren't going so well, maybe even if they are going well, to start thinking through what could derail this deal. So for any particular opportunity, instead of waiting to lose the deal and doing a loss review, do a loss preview with your manager, with the solution architect, with the CSM. What is it that we don't know about this opportunity in this account? Who is it that we don't know in this opportunity or an account that are going to influence the deal? And then what are those top 3 reasons that in 3 weeks' time, we might be sitting around a table saying, we lost this deal because A, B, and C. Well, let's work out what they are, and then let's figure out how we can mitigate the situation now rather than waiting until it's too late. And then the final canvas that you'll find in here is perhaps the most important one. It's called the commission canvas. Now, depending on your commission scheme, there may be different levers, different tiers, different accelerators, and it can be quite difficult to understand what you could earn at certain elements of performance. And what this commission canvas will allow you to do is just to walk through that. For any particular percentage against target, 100, 200%, what is that commission that I would earn? Having done that, let's then break down what your average deal size is and your average conversion from opportunity to closed won deal. And then we can work out for these different levels of performance, how many opportunities do we need to be adding to the pipeline every month in order to fulfill those relevant targets. I've certainly found by setting a lofty goal and then working back to what I need to do as an input, it helps me on that journey. So that is the sales journal, a collection of a number of different canvases that help you every step of the way through creating a pipeline, managing that pipeline through your process, negotiating those deals, and then hopefully smashing your accelerators. I hope you find it useful. You can find it on Amazon. Just search the sales journal and it should come up in the first couple of listings. Enjoy.